Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Denise would like to introduce you to Johnson James. She met him on Facebook. And it wasn't long before he found himself auditioning for the latest edition of Brain of America. And if there's no such contest, well, there ought to be, because ladies and gentlemen, we have a clear winner. How are you? He asked. I'm very well, thanks, said Denise. Bored. How are you? I'm fine, he said. And you? I just told you, she said. OK, but you're really cute. That's very kind of you, said Denise. Thanks, he said. Are you married? I'm a widow, she said. My Albie died 5 years ago. My dear friend, I'm really sorry about that. That's very kind of you. My dear friend, which country are you from? He asked. I'm in England, she said. Where are you? My dear friend, I'm from US. Where in the US? Asked Denise. My dear friend, I'm in California. Where in California? United States, replied our man. My dear friend, how old are you? I know where California is, said Denise. Where are you in California? Adding facetiously, Google Maps will help you find somewhere. My dear friend, he said, that's the name of the place I'm in United States. You live in the whole of California? Are you mega rich? Do you own the whole state of California? She asked, to which our man replied, my dear friend, yeah. Goodness, what happened to all the people who thought they owned property in California? Did you buy them all out? My dear friend, I'm a medical doctor in the United States, he said. What kind of doctor? Asked Denise, dreading the answer. My dear friend, I specialise in treatment of people who are sick from different kinds of diseases, operation, and many more. That sounds more like a general practitioner than a specialist, said Denise. Which diseases do you specialise in? Sounds fascinating. My dear friend, I specialise in operation and treatment of affection and taking care of children also. Sounds complicated, said Denise. My dear friend, you don't trust me, he said. I can't imagine why he would think that someone wouldn't trust him. What do you mean? Asked Denise. He sent a weird heart-shaped emoji thing. I don't know any of your patients, said Denise. Are you saying you aren't any good as a doctor? Is that how you made enough money to buy the whole of California? Did you overcharge your patients? Is that why people don't trust you? My dear friend, I take good care of my patients so much, he replied. OK. My dear friend, where are you now? My dear friend, are you busy now? I was just making a cup of tea, she said. Do you have your own clinic, or do you work in a hospital? My dear friend, I work in hospital, he said. My dear friend, what are you doing for a living, please? OK, she said. Which one? My dear friend, what are you doing for a living, please? I'm retired, she said. I was an accountant. I ran my own business with my husband. Which hospital do you work in? Speedily Googling hospitals in the United States, a man came up with, my dear friend, Cleveland Clinic, Cleveland, Ohio. I thought you said you were in California, said Denise. Or do you drive to work every day? My dear friend, he said, I have a good friend that come around and take me to work. Google Maps tells me that Cleveland in Ohio is 3,778 kilometres from Los Angeles, which is in California. My dear friend, he continued, please talk to me. What are you doing for a living, please? I already told you, said Denise. Please read what I say. Is your friend a pilot? My dear friend, said our man. My friend is a pilot. OK, said Denise. I've never met anyone that flies to work every day. How amazing. Do you own a yacht? I've always wanted to meet someone rich enough to own their own yacht. My dear friend, I own a yacht. And you? And all together, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friend, please, can I see your beautiful picture? please. And should you need any clues that you're talking to a scammer here, that's a classic line, saying they want to see your beautiful picture. It's emotional blackmail. Isn't my picture on here? Asked Denise. And all together now. My dear friend, can I see a new picture of you, please? Don't you like the one on here? Said Denise. My grandson put it on for me. I can post you one if you give me your address. My dear friend, how old are you? I'm 76. How old are you? My dear friend, you really know that age doesn't matter in a relationship. My dear friend, I am 53 years. Tell me about your yacht. My dear friend, is so beautiful and special to me. My dear friend, please send me your email address so we can talk private on Hangout, please. And so they moved to Hangouts, where our man changed his name, as you do. Hi, said Denise. Why'd you have a different name? Thinking on his feet, our man said, My dear friend, that's my brother name. I love his name so much. My dear friend, can I see your beautiful picture? Please, please. I told you, my grandson put my picture on Facebook. If you give me your address, I'll post one to you. My dear friend, you can check your beautiful picture on your phone and send me your picture, please. I don't have one of them mobile phone thingies. My phone's on the wall in my hall, said Denise. I have one of them digital cameras. My grandson prints out my photos for me. Just give me your address and I'll post one to you. I can do that next time I go into town. My dear friend, please send me that one on your profile. OK, I'll ask Benji to print it for me. What's your address? My dear friend, are you asked for my email? My dear friend, you can send it as a message to me. No, darling. Why don't you read what I've said? My grandson prints out my photos for me. If you give me your address, I'll put one in an envelope and post it to you. I hope that's clear. I have one of them digital cameras. Benji takes that little square thing out of it, takes it home and prints my photos. My dear friend, send it to me as a message on Hangout, please. Darling, I'm not going to repeat myself, she said. Please read what I just told you. My dear friend, are you angry with me? Yes, said Denise, because you aren't reading what I'm telling you. My dear friend, I'm really sorry about that. OK, said Denise. My dear friend, because why I'm asking of your pictures is that you're really so beautiful and special to me. That's very kind of you, said Denise. Why is it so hard to give me your address? My dear friend, where I am, it's not too easy to get an address. I don't know what that means, said Denise. My dear friend, what are you doing right now? If you have time to type up here, you have time to type your address, said Denise. I'm running round the garden yodeling. What are you doing? My dear friend, I call you on video call, please. My dear friend, I'm at work right now. And then he thought he'd call Denise. You're going to love this one.
Hello, my friend. How are you? How are you doing today?
Hang on. Oh, hello, darling. There you are. Can you hear me, darling?
My really, you are so beautiful and you are so special to me.
Oh, so what are you doing at work today, darling?
My dear friend, seriously, you are really so kind to me. I'm at work right now, working.
What are you doing?
Yeah, my sweetheart, you are really so beautiful to me, and the way you talk to me, I really love it so much. I'm fully in love with you, seriously.
Oh, that's very kind of you, darling. So what are you doing at work today?
Mm-mm. My sweetheart, seriously, I'm busy. I'm busy seeing my patient.
Well, then you shouldn't really be talking to me, should you? Have you got a patient with you now?
My honey, seriously, you are really so important to me. I'm thinking about you right now.
Oh, are you singing a song, darling?
My sweetheart, seriously, I really want you by my side to be with you forever, to live together.
That's very kind of you, darling. So what patients are you
My sweet
seeing?
honey, I'm
What?
really busy at work right now. Can we chat later?
Okay, darling.
O- Okay, my darling, my beautiful sweetheart.
Okay then, bye for now, darling. My dear friend, can we talk later? He said after the call ended. Maybe you'll have remembered your home address by then, said Denise. My dear friend, okay, he said, sending a load of kisses. Does that mean you've remembered it? Asked Denise. My dear, I will check if I'm back from work. You mean you can't remember if you're at work or not? Asked Denise. My dear, I'm busy. I will get back to you. A few hours later. My dear, you have made my day so bright. Hello, darling, said Denise. Have you remembered your home address? My dear, I will get back to you. I guess you'll keep saying that, will you? Said Denise. It would be much quicker to make up an address and type it here, you know. My dear, he said, they don't give us access to that address that you're talking about. My dear, how are you? Sounds a bit 1984, said Denise. Who are they? My dear, they are the ones control us in the hospital. Please, my honey, forget about that. I really like you so much. You talk like a queen. How'd you go home each day if you don't know where you live? Asked Denise. Do they blindfold you? My dear, they go with us. My dear, what are you doing right now? Smacking a large banshee in the face. What are you doing? My dear, I'm busy chat with you, my honey. My dear, can I see what you're doing, please? What? You'll have to use your imagination, said Denise, unless they can see what's going on and can show you. My dear, are you really happy to hear my voice? I can't hear your voice, said Denise. My sweetheart, should I call you on a video call right now? If you want to, said Denise. And so he called her again, and you'll notice that he never actually video called her. They were all audio calls. Hello,
My
darling.
sweet, how are you?
Hello, darling.
What are you doing right now?
What do you think I'm doing, darling? Darling, I'm very worried about you.
My sweetheart, I really miss you a lot.
Darling, I'm very worried about you.
My sweetheart, you really miss me too.
You're not listening to anything I say, are you, darling? Are you in hospital because you're deaf, darling?
My sweetheart, today was really so stressful to me.
Darling, are you in a mental health ward because you've got difficulties with
Sweetheart,
reality?
seriously, I'm having some headache right now.
You're doing what, darling?
Yeah, because today work was very so stressful.
I didn't understand that, darling. Say that again.
My sweetheart, seriously, they don't allow us to get into access into our address.
What, they don't allow you to know where you live, darling? Have you been admitted to a mental health ward, darling?
My sweetheart, really seriously, I'm so confused because I'm thinking about you.
So, you've been admitted to a mental health ward, have you, darling? You're not really a
My
doctor,
sweetheart,
are you?
seriously, thinking about you. I have to be with you for the rest of my life.
Yeah, darling, next time you call through, I think you should put your psychiatrist on the line so I can
Seriously, my
talk to him.
sweetheart, I don't really don't want to lose you to any other man.
Darling, I really think I need to talk to your psychologist next time you come on. 'Cause I can tell you've got difficulties with reality, darling. Which is why you don't know where you are and you can't remember where you live, isn't it, darling? Darling, said Denise when the call had ended, I can tell you have difficulty with reality. Are you in a mental health ward? Is that why you can't remember where you live? I expect it's the medication. I'm sure you'll start feeling better soon. My sweetheart, today work was so stressful. I'm not even going to try and imitate his voice. I'm sure he was using a voice changer. Yes, darling. Did you have a long session with your psychiatric worker? My sweetheart, how is your family? He asked. My family are fine, darling. Do you have family? Do they come and visit you in hospital? My sweetheart, I have a precious, lovely family. My sweetheart, do you have grandchildren? That's nice, said Denise. I hope they're understanding of your issues. I do, darling, yes. Do you know what medication they're giving you, darling? My sweetheart, I don't really understand what you're saying, he said. It's okay, darling, said Denise. It's the medication. It's making you confused and forgetful. It's why you can't concentrate on what's being said to you and why you can't answer questions. I did actually wonder at one point whether I was talking to a chatbot, but playing them back again, I don't think I was. I think he was using a voice changer, and I just think that he actually didn't speak English at all, and all he was doing was reading from a spreadsheet of pre-prepared answers and didn't actually understand anything that was being said to him in the audio calls. My sweetheart, he continued, okay, where are you right now? I'm in the coal hole, said Denise, chopping up a large fossilised mammoth. My sweetheart, he replied, that's so nice of you. Kiss, 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 kiss. He tried calling her again, but Denise was in the kitchen. Did you try to call me again? She asked. My sweetheart, yeah, he said. My sweetheart, your voice is so precious to me. Unlike yours, replied Denise. My dear, thanks so much, he said, and then he called her again. Hello again, darling.
My sweetheart, what are you doing right now?
Pardon?
My sweetheart, I'm not hearing your voice.
Yeah, darling, I'm very worried about you.
Okay, my sweetheart. Seriously, your voice is so special.
Yeah, it's very kind of you, darling, but I'm very worried about you.
My sweetheart, seriously, I want to be around you.
You want to do what, darling? I didn't hear you.
My honey, seriously, I want to be around you, to make you happy all the time.
You want to be around you? Well, I suppose I could come and visit you in hospital if they'd let me in.
My sweetheart, seriously, you're really so beautiful, like a morning star.
Are you allowed visitors, darling? My dear, do you really love me? Because I'm thinking about you right now, and you. My sweetheart, can't live without you. No, darling, said Denise. I think it would be inappropriate to say I love you, don't you? I'm sure your psychologist will help you back to reality. It takes time. My sweetheart, I love you so much. My dear, can you make me happy? It's okay, darling. I understand you have difficulties. My sweetheart, please, please, can I see your beautiful picture on that? Darling, if you remember your address, I'll post one to you, but you might have to come off the medication first before you can remember. My sweetheart, you can send me your beautiful picture without an address. I know letters to Santa can get there without a full address, but would the postman know where you are? So he sent her a photo of a man sitting on a garden bench. Oh, said Denise, that would make it difficult, darling. If I address it to Ben White on a park bench somewhere, I think the postman might struggle. My sweetheart, you can send me your picture as a message to me on Hangout. Please. It's okay, darling. I know you have understanding difficulties. My grandson prints my photos for me, you know, onto pieces of paper. The kind of paper you put into an envelope. The kind of envelope you post to people, so it gets delivered right to their door. It's ever so clever. My dear, you can send me your picture through Hangout. Darling, please read what I said above. I'm sure you'll understand it if you read it one word at a time. My sweetheart, please, I'm busy right now. You can read it more slowly when your counselling session has finished. My sweetheart, okay. Kiss, kiss. My sweetheart, he said the next day, what are you doing right now? I'm cleaning the bathtub with a used toothbrush, said Denise. The very thought. You really should go to work, darling. I wouldn't want you to lose your job. You need to work to pay for your medication. My dear, do you really think about me? He asked. No, said Denise, not at all. My sweetheart, you are my morning star. I really love so much. My sweetheart, can I call you on a video call, please? And so he called her, and as I think I've said before, you'll notice he never did turn on his video. Oh, and I exported some of these calls as audio calls, which is why you're not seeing the screenshots as you usually do. Hello, darling.
How was work today?
I'm retired, darling. You know that, darling.
My sweetheart, really, why are you saying that?
What am I saying what, darling?
You're not thinking about me.
What do you mean,
My
darling?
sweetheart, really, I really love you so much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My sweetheart, really, I really love you so much.
I don't know what you're talking about, darling.
My sweetheart, really, you are really so beautiful to me, and your voice looks so precious to me.
Well, that's very kind of you, darling. Why didn't you
My
go...
sweetheart, seriously, I'm thinking about you throughout today.
Why didn't you go to work today, darling?
My sweetheart, seriously, I'm really fall in love with you. I'm really fall in love with you.
Why didn't you go to work today, darling?
Really, my sweetheart, don't worry yourself. I'm going to go to work tomorrow.
I didn't hear what you said there, darling. The line went funny.
My sweetheart, really, do you really love me?
No, darling, I don't.
My sweetheart, really, I really love you so much because your voice is very so beautiful.
Are you real, darling? My dear, he said when the call had finished, you are my treasure. Are you real, or are you a voice-activated robot? Asked Denise, because at that point I was seriously starting to wonder, although in retrospect I don't think it was. My sweetheart, I am real, he said. Oh, that's a relief. You know I'm worried about you, darling, not being able to have a conversation or answer questions. It's your medication. You really need to ask them to change you to some different meds. My sweetheart, I think the way you think. I dream the way you dream. I breathe the way you breathe. I love you the way you love me. I hope not, said Denise. My sweetheart is like you so like me. I really love you so much. You keep repeating yourself, darling, said Denise. I really do think you need to talk to your counsellor to develop some strategies. My sweetheart, the world might call me crazy, but I'm glad to be crazy about you. My sweetheart, I love you. And at this point, Denise had Well, some kind of conversion. You sure are crazy, she said, but I just fell deeply, madly and passionately in love. I can't live without you. Will you marry me? Buy me expensive presents. Take me round the world on your yacht. My sweetheart, I will get married to you, he said. Where? When? How? Will they allow you to marry? Will you need an escort? My sweetheart, I want to be with you always and forever. Nothing in this world can replace you in my heart, he said. A good cardiac surgeon can replace most parts of the heart these days, replied a very unsympathetic Denise. My sweetheart, are you happy to be with me? My honey, the Almighty has blessed me with such a precious gem like you. I will never let you go. I love you. It depends how many parts you've had replaced, she said. My sweetheart, it doesn't matter. My love for you is just for you. Forever. Heart, heart, heart. They got talking about wedding dresses, and Denise sensed a trap that she could set, and she sent him a link to some wedding dresses, and our man walked right into the trap. My sweetheart, he said, I love these wedding gown, choosing one from the site. That one's so gorgeous, said Denise. Darling, if you really want to marry me, I have to ask you something. My dear, you're so much beautiful to me, he said. My sweetheart, OK, I'm listen. And before I show you what she had to ask him, I'll show you the trap that she set for him. Denise sent him a dodgy tracking link. You know, the kind of link you should never click on if somebody sends it to you. I don't do this very often because I don't think where the scammers come from is really relevant. They're everywhere. But I'd sent a couple of the audios to a couple of fellow scam baiters, and they weren't quite convinced about his accent. So I set the trap. And this is where he was, Lagos in Nigeria. The pastor at my church insists all husbands-to-be fill in a form before he will conduct the marriage ceremony, she said. My sweetheart, that's so nice of you. Kiss, 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 he said. She was using Google Chat, not Hangouts at the time, which is why there's that rather strange message on the screen, because I've copied this screenshot from Hangouts. Please, darling, she said, fill this in so I can give it to the pastor. My sweetheart, OK, he said. My sweetheart, I have never loved the way I love you. Neither can I ever love any other person than you. My sweetheart, I love you. I don't know what to say, said Denise, but I'm eagerly awaiting for you to fill in the form so I can show it to Pastor Joseph. My sweetheart, he said, I don't understand. Please. The pastor at my church insists that all potential husbands have to fill in the form before he will conduct a marriage ceremony. He has to be sure that future husbands are right for us, you see. Ninth-day Adventists have a long history of ensuring appropriate husbands for their women folk. He disappeared and came back the next day. My sweetheart, how are you? My sweetheart, trust me. Hello, darling, she said. I missed you so much. Have you been able to fill in the form for our pastor? My sweetheart, I will. But where are you now, please? My sweetheart, he said a bit later, I'm so happy. And you? I'm beside myself with unbridled joy, said Denise. My sweetheart, you're precious to me. I can't wait for us to be together. Did you fill in the form? I need to take it to the pastor. My sweetheart, yeah. Without it, continued Denise, I fear we cannot wed. OK, if you filled it in, please send it back to me. At this point, Denise was passingly hopeful that maybe one of his mates had filled it in. And in part 2, you're going to see some of it. I'm not going to show it all to you, because I live in the hope that a future potential husband might actually fill it in. It was sent to me by a fellow scam baiter. There were a few days where they didn't say very much, except that Denise continued trying to get him to fill in the form. Finally, he admitted that he couldn't actually download it. She told him it was a PDF document, and so he downloaded a PDF reader And then, "My sweetheart, you know that I love you so much." "I know you do, my darling. Can you read the form now?" "Yes, my beautiful princess," he said, having downloaded that PDF reader. "My darling, I'm so busy at work right now. I will get back to you. Please. Heart, heart, heart." And then, finally, we got to the point. "My sweetheart, how was your beautiful night?" Kiss, 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 kiss. "I was asleep, dreaming of wedding dresses." "My sweetheart, me too. My lovely princess, I miss you so much." "It won't be long till we can be together. When do you think you'll be able to come here?" "My sweetheart, my bank account. I can't get access into my account. I don't really know what is really wrong with my bank account. I'm so worried about it." "That's a shame," said Denise. "Did you fill in that form yet?" "My sweetheart, yeah. My sweetheart, do you really love me?" "Of course I do, darling. Can you send me back the form so I can give it to the pastor?" "My sweetheart, please, can I ask for a favour, my love?" "Yes." "My sweetheart, please will you be angry with me?" "If you want me to. Why would you want me to be angry?" "My lovely darling, please, please, I need an iTunes card. $50. Please, because I'm at work right now. I need to find out something on my phone. Please." "Why do you need an iTunes card?" "My sweetheart, I told you that my bank is having issue and I don't have any money for now, my beautiful princess." "I need to know my future husband is sincere about marriage before I give him money." "My sweetheart, I am your future husband. I really love you so much. I think about you all the time." "I need to see that you filled in the form for Pastor Joseph to know that you really want to be married, that you really want to be mine. Then I'll know you're sincere and trustworthy." "My sweetheart, trust me. You're mine forever." "You said you'd already filled in the form. Just send it back to me here. Then I can lend you the money." "My sweetheart, I know that. But I need you to get me an iTunes card. $50. Please. Because my phone really need it. My beautiful angel. Please trust me." And there was a lot more silliness. And then Denise suggested that he called her so that they could fill in that form together. "Call me and tell me you love me," she said, "and tell me your answers." "My sweetheart," he said, "I will." And so he called her again. But you're going to have to wait for that, because that's episode 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do all the usual things. Like it, share it, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to press the notification bell, and then you'll be notified when episode 2 is uploaded.